How was it judging with the Trivium system back in Sochi? I'll take you backstage today to some professional breaking judging with the knowledge drop. Focus. Hey yo, welcome to the knowledge drop by Focus of the Flow Mo Crew, BBOY and Cypher Studio. Back to the routine and my normal life straight from Sochi. I did my quarantine and all. And while chilling at home, I had time to reflect on the judging process. So let's take you on a journey to the mind of a professional breaking judge at the first ever European Breaking Championships by WDSF at Sochi. The platform that hosted the systems is called the N8th, like 5, 6, 7, and 8th. Dominic from the company has been putting in mad work on not just making the platform happen, but actually updating it after every single event, if there's anything that needs and should be fixed. I've also shared my personal feedback after every single time I judge with it, and dude's a working machine on making them reality. So the N8th is a platform that can execute and run events in different ways, but also host judging systems during the events. In Sochi's European Championships, we actually used 3 judging systems during the entire event. So not just a system, but 3 different systems throughout the whole event while it was live. First up, for the prelims, we used faders to grade the showcase rounds. Everybody did their solos at first, and based on them, the judges scored the showcase rounds by using overall faders. This score would rank them automatically so that the top 32 or top 16 would go through. And we would see the ranking on the right side of the iPad throughout all times, so you could go back to adjusting it if it didn't feel right. In a regular situation with a pen and a paper, I ranked the people based on the score from 0 to 100, 100 being the best. Judging a lot of battles, I found 0 to 10 to be way too limiting, ending up in a million 6.5s and so on. In Sochi, this was pretty much the same, just a little bit more sophisticated, since we didn't have to juggle no papers and it was synced in real time. Secondly, for the crew battles, we used the 3 category system with faders again. This means that we judge round for round like we normally do. We just used faders with 3 different categories all at once. After every single round of the battle, we would give our votes based on all of the 3 different categories of that round. And this would eventually lead to picking up the winner of that battle. The third and the main system that was used in the solo battles this time was the Trivium system. Trivium is the system that was created by Storm and Renegade and was used in Argentina for the Olympic Games, Youth Olympic Games in 2018. It's possibly the most thorough and even complex system ever created for judging professional breaking battles. With the Trivium system, there are 6 categories to be used, which are technique and variety, which goes under the umbrella of the body. There are performance and musicality that goes under the umbrella of soul. And there are creativity and personality that goes under the big umbrella of mind. Within the mind, body, and soul approach, there are a few shortcuts that make the judging more efficient, a little bit easier, and faster as well, since a round is very short. These shortcuts are form, execution, spontaneity, and confidence. And there are penalties such as crash, repeat, misbehavior, or bite. These shortcuts affect all of the different categories in different ways. And if it sounds kind of complex, you should check out Storm's YouTube channel where he breaks down the system and how it's used pretty thoroughly. There's also a PDF by Breaking for Gold that explains how the judging was done in Buenos Aires 2018. If this is the system that will be used in Paris for 2024, anybody aiming to battle over there should be already studying both of these in order to understand it thoroughly. Imagine a football player hitting the big games and not knowing the rules. Well, they are now out there publicly, and you can only learn from studying them, and the time to start is today. This was the first time I used the Trivium system myself, and at first glance, it looked like a flight simulator to me, to be honest. And in the first battle, I gotta admit, it took me a little bit longer than expected to get going. But battle after battle, getting more comfortable using it, it started to feel more natural, and the whole thing started to flow pretty quick after the first battle, actually. And at that stage, it turned into a tool. A tool that helped me break down on why certain decisions had to be made. A tool that didn't change the decision I would have made, but gave me a way to justify it and break it down on a new level of deepness. And that's why on a big stage battle like this, where the stakes are high, I loved using it. What's funny to me with the people using the systems in the first place is that we've already had systems in place for years. Round for round system that the majority of the professional judges use is a system. So to say that we should never have a system in place is kind of silly and pretty ignorant too. There is a time and place for the round for round system, and there is a time and place for the Trivium. It's not made for the underground jams. They operate just fine with the round for round. The Trivium is made for the Olympic level of executing a breaking battle competition. And that kind of level requires a certain standard, which I believe that Trivium can fulfill. What was a little bit shocking to me was that after maybe 2 hours of the event was done, all the stats from all of the battles were out publicly for everybody to see. No stone was left unturned, making the judging brutally transparent. And that leaves zero room for bias of any kind. So I guess we're in a new age for judges to be held accountable for their performance too. It even included the stats from the judges' performance. How many calls did you make that led into a winning decision? Or were you completely off from the rest of the judges? And naturally, that doesn't straight up tell you if you're a good judge or not. The rest of the judges can be whack and not know what they're doing. But with 5 professional judges on that seat, it can give you some sort of an idea of consistency and bias while making those calls. Overall, once we get further to bigger stages and competitions, there's one thing that becomes more and more important for judging, and that's education. How to use the systems as effectively as possible, so you're not just thrown on the bench fresh off the plane trying to figure out how it works. Well, that's all matters that we need to figure out before Paris 2024. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and that's it for the knowledge drop this time, y'all. Head out to BBOY.com right now and hit up my free footwork workshop. Focus signing out. Peace.